And we are live on Let Me Ask You This. And joining us tonight, we have Noah Colvin, and of course, my co-host Billy. And
I figured I'd come back.
Yeah, thanks, Billy. Noah, you were in the news a lot, right?
Yep.
The whole hand sanitizer, the Amazon story. Can you walk us through exactly what it was that that they claimed happened? What really happened? I read almost every article that you were involved in, and it's all really interesting stuff. So, can you take us to the beginning of the timeline?
So the beginning of how it started is China got hit with the coronavirus first, and we realized that there was a supply and demand for hand sanitizer. So we, I believe about a month before this article released, we ordered most of the hand sanitizer we had. And pretty much what happened is we shouldn't have gone to the news. We went to the news, and people really blew up a little bit bigger than we expected, but a lot bigger than we expected. But
so when did you what month did you start buying the hand sanitizer?
Okay, so
I was just gonna say, I think I had done a little research, and it looked like you had bought the sanitizer basically after the first death in the U.S. happened. Was that motivated off anything, or
no? We did buy a lot from a store, like you see in the news. The only thing you're really going to see in the news is the fact that we went around and cleaned out like dollar stores and stuff.
Yep.
Which that's literally about all you can find. We did clear out some stores, but the majority of what we bought was wholesale. I don't know if you guys know this, but Dollar Trees, they do wholesale. It was all wholesale buys. None of it was. Now, I'm saying we hit 6 or 10 stores, but none of it was actual buy it off the shelves. It was all wholesale.
Now, are you normally an Amazon seller, like of general stuff in general, or was this your first foray on Amazon?
My brother has done it, made his living at it for like 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And I actually just at the beginning of this calendar year went full time into Amazon. So, and not Amazon, but online arbitrage. So.
And what were you doing before, for people that like may want to make a change or whatever? What were you doing before that?
Working. I was working.
Yeah. What did you do for work before you went Amazon full time?
I was actually
pretty cool that you're on Amazon full time.
Yeah, I was actually a commercial sewing machine operator. So I sewed like blankets and stuff. It really depended on what our contract was, but
you saw your brother just making a lot more money on Amazon, and you said, "What is this? Can I?"
I've done this, just not full time, ever since I was like 13 or 14. It's just something I've always loved doing, flipping stuff. And I've got out of. We really don't do a lot of the actual flipping anymore. Most of what we do is wholesale, which got left out of the news. But
yeah, convenient that they would leave that juicy detail out of there.
Yeah, they left multiple details out.
How did they?
You were the one. Oh, go ahead, Ed.
How did they even know in the beginning that that you had all? Because the first article I saw was like 17,000 bottles, nowhere to sell them.
Okay, so this is what happened. Amazon, when California shut down, or at the beginning of, I'm not sure which month. I'm kind of lost on my dates right now. It's all running into each other, but. When California shut down, it kind of flipped a light switch, and all the states started just freaking out and putting down and locking down and everything. California was the one that instigated a lot of that stuff. And Amazon, instead of, like you see in the news articles that they wouldn't let us sell, the thing is they shut down everything, hand sanitizer or soap. They just shut it down. They wouldn't even let us sell it at like a make break even, which is what we would have done just to get rid of it, because we're sitting on so much. That's what the story was originally about. New York Times contacted us about writing a story about how Amazon just cut all the sellers off. And it wasn't just us. I know of hundreds of sellers that are still sitting on it because Amazon, nobody online will let you sell it. and everybody's just had to dump it and donate it because you couldn't even sell it for a loss.
How many bottles had you bought before you found out that you wouldn't be able to sell it? Like, it seemed like you had like 17,700 was the big number that gets everyone. And then you tried to sell like 300 or something. Is that what happened? You tried to sell like 300 online between like $8 and $70. That was some of the report. You can straighten that out for us too if you want.
Just one thing that will fix the in between $8 and $70. I've seen a lot of people saying you selling $1 jug of hand sanitizer. One word will fix that. It's multi-packs. We didn't sell a single jug of hand sanitizer for $70. That's ridiculous. I mean, if I did do that, I do deserve what I got. But we went up to like, I mean, it's 10, 12, 8 multi-packs. And that was the $70 ones. We weren't selling single jugs of 50-cent hand sanitizer for $70. Just a straight cap.
So okay,
sure,
so
yeah.
So you go to the news, and do you go to the news first and you say, hey, we know people need sanitizer and we have all this stuff to sell? Or
that's what the New York Times originally wanted us to do, is try to just leverage Amazon into letting people sell. Even if it was like a 10% profit margin or a 5% profit margin, I think is what we were going on. Just let us sell. I mean, we had the stuff. We would have been through it in another 3 days. Yeah. 5-10% profit margins. I mean, that's less than Walmart makes setting stuff on the shelves. But
anyhow. Now you eventually had to donate everything, right? Is that, or you ended up you didn't have to, but you ended up donating everything, right?
Yes, sir. We donated everything. We started getting death threats, and
that's unbelievable.
We're concerned for just the family and just everybody. So it was safer to just dump it and get out from under it and move on.
Well, if we could back up real quick, who's the first person from the government who contacts you? Is it local government? Is it federal government? Who's the first person that makes a contact with you?
It was an investigator from the state office.
Okay.
I'm not going to name. I'm not.
You don't have to say who it is. No. But what do they say? They say, hey, you have all this hand sanitizer. You have to give it to us.
The state actually did a very good job with how they handled this, in my opinion. They gave us a cease and desist, which pretty much they wanted us to stop selling hand sanitizer. And honestly, with the article that came out, that was the right move for them. We needed to stop, but we weren't selling it is the thing. But anyhow, they made the right move with that. And then we were already in the works of donating it to a local church, and the state took over and coordinated the donation.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I don't know if it was you or your brother that I saw the quote from, where it said that you basically were just taking supply from an area that really didn't have that demand and trying to move it to an area that had the demand.
Yeah.
It's a simple supply and demand economics 101.
Nobody understands it anymore, though.
And they made it out. I mean, I was infuriated when I read the story, because people were taking the pitchforks out for you guys, and I don't think it
got ridiculous.
And it was almost like they were, using their heart over their head as to what really was happening.
Well, the thing is, if you look at that news article, if you read it without knowing about, like, if you just read it and you don't know anything about commerce or anything, then I could understand getting upset at it. And honestly, just with the prices and everything, if I was one of you guys reading it and just saw the price, saw $70 for one bottle of hand sanitizer, I'd be pissed. But the thing is, we weren't selling it for that. That was a false news. But
so basically, you guys are like more so like these veterans who like play by the rules, like Amazon veterans, that have like played by the rules, and everything kind of got blown way out of proportion. You say that you got death threats and stuff like that. How rampant were they, and like where were they coming from?
Twitter was really bad with a lot of that stuff. Twitter is just bad, period, with garbage like that. But there was the main things that actually worried and considered us was the fact that the first night it got bad enough that my brother took his family and his kids and moved off with some other family out away from the address that got leaked. And I stayed there by myself watching the dogs, and there was like 4 people that I had to call the cops on throughout the night. They'd come up and beat on the door and try to break in, and I had to call the cops. And I can understand getting upset about something, but that, in my opinion, that's taken a little bit too far.
Absolutely, that's getting personal and taking up way too much time. And
well,
now you know what the first that I heard of the story, I heard it was on the news, and they said that somebody was hoarding, essential items, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking ventilators, whatever the people, water, soap.
Nope,
right?
alcohol.
Because if you look at the history of like Purell, because I was like, I'm going to do a lot of research on this.
Oh my God! You know the history of Purell?
Hand sanitizer wasn't invented until 1988, right? It didn't start selling commercially until 1997, and it wasn't even selling until 2002. So how essential?
And the thing is, nobody buys it unless something like this happens. Nobody buys it. I mean, it's one of those items that's the reason why they're so far behind in production right now and can't keep up.
Right.
They didn't have to make much of it. I mean, they just had little dinky little companies running it, and that's the main reason why they ran out so fast.
And was it mostly Purell that you guys ended up buying, or was it just kind of like a lot of things wholesale?
So we bought the stuff that we picked up from stores was a mix. 10,000 of them, I believe, or 14,000 of them was a wholesale order of Germex 1 ounce bottles. That's another thing. It's 17,000 is 1 ounce bottles. I mean, like, seriously. But
Now in January of this year, the FDA even released a statement. I think it was in the end of January, where they said that hand sanitizer was not effective against the coronavirus, like 100%. That I think on the bottle it says effective against 90% of different viruses, or whatever. And the FDA came out and said no, it wasn't. That soap and water was still the best
soap and water.
So why was everyone,
and next to all these Purell things, you have the soap and water that no one's buying. Everyone's just buying straight out the Purell, and you've got soap that's right next to it that's just sitting on the shelves.
Yeah. America is used to ease, and it's quicker to use hand sanitizer than it is to wash your hands for 30 seconds.
Sure.
And I'm just being honest. It's easier, and you can travel with it. You can't walk out of the grocery store and wash your hands for 30 seconds in soap and hot water. But the thing that really surprised me about it is the fact that it blew up so fast. And the thing is, it's just hand sanitizer. It's alcohol with water is all it is, and a little bit of aloe.
So
no, it's crazy. I mean, there was more articles written about you guys than the 4 U.S. senators who sold their stocks, knowing that the coronavirus was going to affect America, for millions of dollars in profits right before they decided to shut the economy down. And they knew what they were going to do, yet they wanted to write articles about 2 guys in Tennessee selling to what I believe to be non-essential items, because I have yet to use hand sanitizer during this pandemic.
Same.
I'm using soap and water like I've been doing since pre-1997. And the whole price gouging thing, I don't think people realize enough that price gouging during a crisis is actually a good thing. And there's been numerous economists that have written about it, because what happens is, if you don't raise the prices to what the market bears, you have what's going on right now where I can't buy toilet paper because it's $1 a roll or whatever it is, and someone can go in there and they don't, they just buy all of it because they can afford to. But if you raise the prices, people only buy what they need.
Yeah.
And more people in the community can get the supplies that they need, and it's a way to to satisfy.
So that's why my groceries are $10 a piece right now.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. But I don't feel like that. They didn't go into any in depth at all in any of these articles. They wanted to vilify you, and
but they did a good job at that. I mean,
they got
what they wanted. They wanted news out of it. They got what they wanted, but
at your expense.
Yeah, it really opened my eyes to how the news is. I mean, if this is what all news is like right now, then I don't believe a word they say anymore. I don't. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, it's true what they wrote about us. It's just it's not all true. It's not the whole truth. It's exactly what we said, but you can take any story, and if you take a word out here and there, it's going to be the exact opposite. And that's pretty much what they did. They just cut the parts that actually, and they wrote a hit piece that got. I guarantee you, it made them a lot. So
did you have an attorney?
Yes.
And so you didn't get reimbursed for any of what you had to donate? I mean, I'm hoping you could write that off in your taxes next year at least.
We're not going to write it up. We donated it. We're not even going to write it off. We're moving on from it.
That's unbelievable.
Well, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Do you mind sharing with us, like monetarily, how much money you guys were out?
How much money we're out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you lost money.
I'm not going to spit any numbers, but it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
That's incredible.
You can't put a price tag on safety of family, is what it came down to.
Yeah. So how has your life changed since this happened? I mean, obviously your friends and family are still your friends and family.
Most of them,
right? But like, can you go out in public and people know who you are? I mean, well, no one's going out in public now, but are you going out in public? And
Tennessee. What state are you guys in?
We're in Mass.
Okay. We're in Tennessee, and we're actually opening back up. We're starting into our stages of opening back up right now.
Yep.
And I've actually been out in the grocery stores. I went out and got groceries the other day, and there was 3 or 4 people that recognized me from it. And I've had one guy get upset a little bit with me about it. But I've also had 5 or 6 of them people walk up to me and say, dude, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry they put you through this. This is ridiculous. And I'm more worried about my family than I am me. I can handle myself. I'm worried about the kids going out and somebody getting mean and trying to rough them up.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. I wish I was your attorney. I would have gotten I would have gotten you triple what you guys spent on that.
It's one of those things. If I was in a perfect world, we'd probably be moving towards trying to fight this a little bit. But it's not worth the risks of fighting it and having everybody come up in arms at us again.
Did Amazon?
Because you're on Amazon and you really don't want to like jeopardize that relationship and everything, right? Basically.
True, but I mean, it's more like I don't want to, because if we say we went to court and tried to fight the state on it and we lost, then it would just it would make people more upset and it would ruin things more. It's better just to cut losses and move on right now. And also, when we did this, we did not realize, and we just wanted to. Pretty much it came down to we realized actually how much this stuff was needed, and we just wanted to get it out there to somebody that would use it and just get it out of our lives pretty much.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. I just cannot believe that they would do that to you guys.
Well,
what was the moment where you thought to yourselves, we might be in trouble here? Like was there the oh shit moment at all?
I felt like I handled myself pretty good until that first night when there was I had to call the cops 4 times. Yeah. And then it really, really hit me. And it's been a rough couple of weeks or months. I don't know. But it's been a rough little bit for the family, but we'll get over it and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hope you guys are, vindicated, and it's just unfortunate that like I said, a lot of people think with their heart and not with their head, and understand that it costs money to ship goods.
Especially alcohol.
Yeah,
that's another thing that people didn't realize. It's alcohol is a hazardous material.
right.
So you nearly have to pay double shipping to ship hazardous material in the U.S. and you can't ship it with the post office. It has to be ground. If it goes up in the air and flies they catch you, you got $10,000 fine just like that.
Yeah.
So you have to ship it ground, and it's really expensive.
So that's why you ultimately took that trip in the U-Haul, because you can't really like fly stuff anyway. So you had to stay on the ground.
Well, we took the trip in the U-Haul mainly because we realized that it was worth it, pretty much. I mean, and the fact is, when I was up there I was up in Knoxville, and I had every store I went to, there was managers, employees laughing at me, telling me, "You are crazy. It's never going to get this bad." And then,
I feel like Ed is always like doing these types of things. I feel like,
hey.
I feel like I'm always telling him that he's crazy. I can only imagine like when you're like, I'm gonna go fill up a truck of 17,700 whatever.
well, hold on. The thing is, with that trip we took, we only got maybe a couple thousand bottles from that trip.
Yeah.
The rest of it was wholesale. Almost at least 12 to 15,000 of those bottles were wholesale buys that got shipped in from suppliers like Dollar Tree, which is a wholesale supplier, and there's another supplier that I'm not going to name.
You mean they shipped it to you on on a pallet?
Yeah, just a wholesale shipment, like they're freighted in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
That's the main reason. I don't understand why it's such a big deal when I could buy 3 pallet loads of the crap and get it shipped to my front door, and then it blows up this big. But
they were mad. They were mad because they didn't want the average citizen making money. That's
they didn't want.
That's what the reality is.
They didn't want this to become a business.
Right.
Yeah, no.
What's funny is I remember it was it had to be. I think it was February. I was going around to the stores trying to find sanitizer, whatever, Lysol wipes, and they were sold out. And I'm usually pretty good about getting out of stuff before the supply is limited. And I was shocked. So that's why I read you guys. I'm like, man, these guys must have thought been pretty forward thinking. What else have you sold anything else to this extent before that you've been ahead of everybody else?
My brother's a 6-figure seller, so he's sold massive amounts of. I'm not going to go into details, but
yeah, there's
a lot of stuff. I mean, it's hard to keep track of exactly what I sell. I can't recall it, but
yeah,
it's you get a deal and you sell it and you move on. So I don't really see a lot of this stuff. It just comes in, we prep it and ship it out, and it's gone.
Yeah.
So
how do you know it's a good product for you?
You got to study the market. Study how much it costs you to sell it, and pretty much just know the market and know your costs, know how much it's going to cost you to get it to the customer's door. And if you feel like you can make a profit, then pull the trigger on it. Go with it.
Were you guys ever threatened with jail time? I didn't see that in the story.
On Twitter, right? Not by anybody that had a badge, but
by the people that came to his door.
Yeah,
just people on Twitter. All right. So, what were some of the things people were saying to you on Twitter? Was it a bunch of eggs, or was it actual real accounts?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I looked at it one day, and then I haven't looked at it since because it gets me down the dumps reading crap like that. I just as soon not see it. So honestly,
I'll tell you what, man. You have nothing to be ashamed of.
I know. I still don't want to read that though.
I would tell you. Trust me. I would tell you. If I brought you on tonight, I wanted to ambush, I would have told you, right? But I think I'm a pretty fair guy, and we were really excited to have you come on tonight because I thought it was a super interesting story. I can just tell you that I would have handled it opposite of the way you did. I'd still be in jail right now because there was no way that they were taking those.
There was a couple of people. I really had to control my. I
saw a picture of
almost
one of the
lost it a couple of times.
I saw a picture of one of the guys who they said was behind the whole confiscation or whatever, and the guy's sitting there smiling like somebody who gets stuffed in a locker in high school. And I'm like, man, if that guy came to my house, I don't know how that would have ended, but he wouldn't have walked away with my hand sanitizer. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I will say the state was very, very nice about how they handled it. The media, there was a local media that, oh my gosh, I'm gonna stop there before I get in trouble. But
were there any national outlets that had reached out to you to go on their show, to do their shows at all? Like, any of them like ask you to come on or anything?
Dr. Oz, a couple of other big ones. I'm not gonna do it though, because they'll crop me out and just have me say in the bad part.
You want to do the big ones, like, let me ask you this.
The main reason why, if you look at a lot of the news, you don't see me on there, you see my brother.
Yep.
The main reason why you don't see me is I'm not going to do it unless it's live. If it's not live, I'm not doing it, because you're going to crop me out and make me sound like an idiot. When if you put me on live, I'll straighten it out and I'll tell you the truth and tell you what I sold it for and run it straight down the line. But I'm not going to let you crop me out and make me a fool.
Did you tell your brother Did you tell your brother you were coming on tonight with us?
Yeah.
Did he want to join you too, or no?
I'm not.
Are you guys social distancing?
Yeah, we've been locked in for pretty much ever since this died down. We've been in the house, and I'm more concerned about this coming back a second time, because down here in Tennessee they're opening up, and it's ridiculous. They're opening too early. I guarantee it. It's gonna come back.
Man, I wish you had stockpiles of toilet paper so I could buy some from you.
We got enough for us. We knew that. I knew that was going to happen.
How can you have bought 17,000 rolls of toilet paper?
Where are you going to stick 17,000? That's a big warehouse. But I knew that was going to happen long before also, because if you look at the supply and demand there, and then look at the fact, it's like the hand sanitizer. They're small companies. They're made to make what we need, not what we want. And it's kind of like the hand sanitizer. They make what we need, not what we want. And as when everybody started wanting a lot, and they're not made to handle that. But I knew that was coming 3 months before this happened, so we got plenty of toilet paper.
Well, this just goes back to the whole law of supply and demand, right? They just don't. If they raise the prices just a little tiny bit on the toilet paper, it would actually still be in the stores. But because they refuse to, because of price gouging laws, people just go in there and they buy up literally all of it.
And to a certain extent, I really do agree with the price gouging laws. I don't agree with the fact of the amount of power that states have to act on price gouging laws.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be able to just go take somebody's stuff because a news media said that they were price gouging. If you don't have proof, I don't think you should be allowed to. I'm not going to go any farther.
Pretty reasonable.
But I mean, you make us stop selling, but I don't see why you can come in and just walk in somebody's house and confiscate something off of hearsay. But I mean, it's the law, so.
You couldn't have told them that you just collect hand sanitizer? That wouldn't have worked?
Not at that time. It wouldn't work. No. We were ready to cut and run. We got to protect the family more than anything.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Totally understand that.
So if things kind of calm down in that way of like people threatening you or anything like that, are things for all intents and purposes almost back to normal, or?
They're back to as normal as it can be right now in the COVID-19. But I mean, I haven't really been on social media. I've been on occasionally, but I haven't been on actually looking at all this. I know death threats have I don't think we've had any of that. And to give you an idea, on my Facebook, it was public for the first 2 to 3 hours after the story released, and I got 5,000 to 10,000 messages from random people telling me I should go.
Whoa.
Yeah, go do stuff, and but anyhow, so my Facebook is locked off. But anyhow, that's the main reason. What really pushed us to it is the amount of the backlash directed straight to us, and probably 30 or 40 pizzas delivered. They doxed us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they doxed us, and probably we turned away, I'd say 20 pizzas in the first couple of days.
That's incredible.
Wow.
And do you guys live in a big town, or I mean, I know Tennessee's only got a couple of big cities, whatever, but are you guys in like a small enough town where everyone knows who you are? Or
not necessarily that small, and I'm not going to go into details of exactly where we're at. So as far as I'm going to go on that. Sorry, but
no, that's all right.
No,
just want to get an idea of. I
wouldn't want any coming to my house either.
Yeah, we assume every place is is tinier than where we are.
Yeah,
So
we're in one of the bigger. We're on the edge of one of the bigger towns in the state, so it's a fairly populated place. But it's not like Nashville or Knoxville big, or I don't know any big towns up where you guys are, but.
So knowing what you know now, could you have pulled this off if you had done a couple things differently?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's a question that might get me in trouble if I answer it wrong.
I don't mean to make it that way. So
can you?
Well, I mean, like legally.
I was just saying, knowing what you know now, do you think you could? Well, we can pass on that question.
No. Let me just say this: I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't.
And I still feel like that. I did a business transaction, or let me rephrase that. Me and my brother did a business transaction. We didn't do anything wrong. So, I mean, I'd do it over again in a heartbeat.
What does it cost per bottle or per pack? Like typically, is it like $3 a bottle or something like
that? It really depends on the hand. Purell, about the bottom for like an 8 ounce is like $3.70 something for a bottle of Purell or something, if I remember correctly.
And it costs.
That's a guesstimate. That's not an exact.
Okay, and I believe it costs them. I want to say 12 cents per bottle, 18 cents per bottle. I think it is for them to make it. Hey. So they're for Purell to make it. It's like 18 cents a bottle. So they're price gouging us by 100 times or 10 times, whatever it is, right? How come they don't get in trouble? Like, why are they? You go to the hospital, they charge $1,000 for a Band-Aid.
Because it's business.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, because they control it. They don't want these small businesses to come out of nowhere.
I honestly don't know anything. I'm not going to go trashing anybody else about charging too much for anything.
No, absolutely. It's just I think the hypocrisy of it all was really unfair, and I'm sorry that you guys that you probably still have to deal with that.
Well, it's probably something we'll deal with for the remainder, but I mean.
Well, luckily we're on a 24-hour news cycle where something else will happen tomorrow and everyone will forget all about it,
Well, yeah. But like you said, I mean, I was more concerned with actual problems in the world right then than somebody like me trying to make money. But anyhow.
Well, listen, Noah, we appreciate you coming on. And I know you said you had to, run a little while, but really appreciate your time tonight. And, I really appreciate you coming on the show and good luck to you and your brother in the future.
Okay. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Thank you very much, Noah.
Take care.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
I mean, it's just so interesting, like how the government or whatever is always like kind of like against you, or like you never have like things are never like as white and black as they seem. You look at that story and it looks like these guys are like the worst guys in America. And then you talk to them and they're doing a wholesale business, trying to bring Purell to areas where it wasn't. Obviously they're not getting rich off that. So for a couple guys that had the right foresight and they still got screwed. So that sucks.
It must have been out at least $60,000. It must. Although
they don't want to talk about it either.
I guess they bought a wholesale, but yeah, dude, nobody. If it was under 50, people like to talk about it. If it's under 50, if it's over 50,000, people are like, I don't want to talk about it.
Especially if his brother's a six-figure seller. I mean, they must be throwing around a lot of different. They must be throwing around a lot of different.
I don't have 17,000 of anything.
No, let alone hand sanitizer.
I wish I did. I wish I.
Ashley Maki knows something about wholesale prices. Apparently.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe they need to go after her.
So how do we get these Amazon businesses is really the main question.
Man, yeah, no kidding. They must be shipping I sell something on Amazon, like I sell something on eBay sometimes, and I feel it's like a pain for me to have to go ship it. It's not a pleasurable experience.
That's their whole job.
And they must be shipping out hundreds of items a week, if not more.
Yeah, I know. They must be shipping so much. $100,000 off Amazon?
How are they going to get 17,000 bottles of? How are they even going to sell it? How are they going to ship that? There's only 2 of them, and they're going to ship 17,000 bottles of it.
I think they were just like breaking it down. Like it said, like they try to sell like 300 of them or something, and that's like when they first got like flagged or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, dude. I can't even imagine that getting that many messages, telling you that you're a piece of shit or that you should go, die or whatever. All because you're trying to make a living.
Can't even go on Facebook. That's crazy. He got like 5,000 to 10,000.
I know, it's unbelievable, and I don't want to brag or anything, but I was able to get him on the show using my connections in Tennessee.
What connections in Tennessee?
No, I don't have any, but
Beefcake.
Arrested Development.
The
band, the R&B band from the 90s.
Oh.
Didn't they sing the song Tennessee?
I have no idea.
Okay.
That topic just kind of came out of nowhere.
That was pretty. That was great to have him on.
Yeah, it was. I think it really showed like how bad the media can twist you.
Dude, they ruined
these guys. Can't even say anything.
His life is ruined for the next probably. I mean, just imagine that, like trying to go get a job somewhere, and they Google you, and this is the, and you're that person. Right?
Hope says, I wonder if he kept a couple bottles for the household. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he has so much stuff.
Are they in his house?
Those guys are probably in like a bunker where they can live for the next like 10 to 20 years. I mean, like he was saying that they predicted the toilet paper shortage.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do these guys have?
I'll tell you what.
He's $100,000 earner on Amazon. They must have everything.
Listen to me. If you don't think that I'm quitting the show tonight and contacting him every day for what to buy, that's my new job, dude. My new job is I'm calling that guy and I'm going to say, hey, what do you think I should buy? And I'm buying a ton of it because that guy knows everything.
I can't wait till I get a call from you, like you're selling buckets of soy sauce or whatever, like commercially.
Like, dude, I got a pallet of soy sauce coming in this week. Noah told me to go buy it.
The supply is, it's not a commodity.
Yeah. I tell you what, nice guy, real nice guy.
Yeah, real nice guy.
Guy could have been. He could have totally been like, dude. You know how I would have been. I would have been ranting about every single person who was involved. I would have.
You would have taken everything as something direct against you too.
Yep.
If I had mentioned the 17,000, you would have been like, well, it's actually 1,000 that we had.
Dude, I would have wanted bad things to happen to these people that try to get me in trouble. I saw a picture of the guy who was smiling ear to ear, the guy who started the whole investigation. That wouldn't have gone down too well, but I mean, can you just imagine that? Like you spend your 60 grand.
Yeah, I liked how you were talking about how tough you'd be if the state came to you'd have a frappuccino in your pants.
Me?
You'd be so anxious.
Yeah, maybe if the state came, but like when the first local person came and was, like the town administrator.
Dude, if you had people knocking on your door at night and you had to take your family and leave, come on, you would be freaking out.
Wait, why are they knocking on my door?
Because did you hear like he was saying that people were knocking on his door, like giving him death threats that first night.
Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't take them seriously, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure that's scary, dude. 20,000 negative messages on Facebook. I can't handle one negative message.
We can't even get 20,000 messages. Like,
dude, someone unfriends me on Facebook and I like go into the dumps. I can't even take it, let alone
you immediately know who it is because you've scrolled.
Right. I can't even handle that. And these guys are flipping through Facebook, getting 10,000 messages about, how much everyone hates them.
He got so many that he like shut it down. That's crazy.
He doesn't even want to talk about it.
I know. I mean, that's the biggest thing they take from you. They take social media from you during the COVID-19. What the hell are you supposed to do? There's no one to start fake fights with.
I'll tell you what, I would have fired I would have fired that attorney. I wish he would have said who the attorney was, because that attorney was terrible. There were so many things that they could have said that would have, that would have let them be able to sell. Well, I guess they wouldn't have been able to sell it because Amazon shut it down, but they would have at least not gotten in trouble.
Yeah, I feel like there could have been better ways to like spin that or whatever. And the fact that they donated all of it, shouldn't they just not get in any trouble anyway?
Well, I think that's how they avoided it. But dude, to not write it off on your taxes, I'm not gonna be okay with that. That's just giving money away. They basically just handed over $60,000 to the government and said, "Hey, here you go take some hand sanitizer." When I'm a big collector of hand sanitizer.
And they weren't even actually price gouging. It's just the media saying that they're price gouging. Like, that's the craziest thing, is that like the media is more credible than like the actual facts.
You should be able to make, all right, if somebody, I literally have no toilet paper left. If somebody was in Florida and they had a pack of toilet paper and they were like, hey, the store down the street has toilet paper, and I don't know who this person is. I go, hey, I'll give you $5 plus whatever it costs to buy it and the shipping. That's not price gouging. That's me paying someone to go buy it for me.
Yeah.
Which is what it sounds like they were actually going to do, was basically just charge a convenience fee, like Ticketmaster scumbags who charge like $5 convenience fee just to buy a concert ticket when everything is digital. And then if the concert gets canceled, they still keep your convenience fee. Scumbag.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the problem of like big businesses versus like these small ones. Like, the issue is like Ticketmaster and the Celtics or whatever, they're not getting like shut down. It's these smaller guys that they can step on.
They didn't want to see two guys, make a little money real quick. They didn't want to see that, a little bit of a windfall that they were going to come into, because
for all the hard work that Amazon is too. I mean, they deserved it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Hope kind of sums it up there.
Yeah, I know. That's a workout and a half.
17,000 1-ounce bottles of hand sanitizer.
That's crazy.
And that's how they get off on saying like that it was 17,000 or whatever, because it was 1 ounces or something. Like, he just said like they kept pumping up the numbers, and it's like the media just tries to make this as bad as possible.
Well,
rather than being like, look at these like two entrepreneurs. Like, they could have think about how you could have like framed this differently. Like, two entrepreneurs that have family ties. They've like learned from each other and passed these ideas down to each other. They buy something they get ahead of a trend, and they buy it for basically what a store would mark it up for. Like, you could sell it as this like great story, but of course not. It has to be 17,700. They bought a truck and bought it all from. See, you don't hear any of the wholesale thing to it either.
I didn't know that at all.
You're just like, they're going down a 1,300-mile strip of Tennessee with a U-Haul, filling it from anything from Walmart, Dollar Tree, Staples. It's not like, they were actually going in wholesale. And
if anything, they should have blamed Dollar Tree for selling them pallets of hand sanitizer, because obviously they had them, and they said they had another distributor who they didn't want to name. But if they're, I actually thought that though, because I was like, how could they get 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer? But now it makes sense that they were getting pallets of it. So the reality is the middleman should have been the one that should have been in trouble.
Yeah. Well, it's tough to man, it's tough to profit on a pandemic. Apparently, I mean,
Ashley thinks that they were just randomly buying 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer. Yes, if there was no corona, they wouldn't have bought it in the first place.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious, Ashley. Thank you. They wouldn't have bought hand sanitizer if we didn't need it. Yes,
they would have been buying something else.
Concept we were talking.
They would have been
about.
making money instead.
I liked how he was saying that he agreed with the rules of price gouging, and you were trying to like get him to like disagree with the rules of price gouging.
Well, you should disagree with the rules. Here's what happened in Florida during, I think it was one of the big hurricanes they had. The gas stations ran out of gas, right? Why? Because people who had a lot of SUVs, whatever, they were filling up their gas tanks so they can get out of Dodge. Well, people who didn't get there in time didn't get to have gas, and they got stuck there. If you raise the price to what the market bears, more people can get what they need. Now, you're not going to satisfy everybody. And yeah, maybe if you're someone who has literally nothing, then you might be shut out. But it allows more people to, have more of the supply, which is why it's actually a good thing. And people who say it's a bad thing don't understand how economics work.
Mm.
Like, you ever go to a concert that you really want to go to, or a baseball game or Patriot game, and you're like, man, I really want to get front row seats. Well, you're not going to take off work to go sleep over at night, and you probably can't even do that anymore. You know that you don't have a T2 wire or Cat 5 wire to be able to log on faster than everybody else. But you know that ticket scalpers are going to have front row seats, and they're doing you the service of making sure that you have access to that supply. If everyone who wanted to go to the game was able to buy tickets, you wouldn't be able to go to the game, right? That's how that works.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a good thing.
So I can go to the game. I can go to the game because of price gouging.
Yes, because you can sit in the front row because of price gouging. If price gouging didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to sit in the front row, is what I'm saying. Yeah, it might cost me $500 to go sit front row at a Yankee game, but I can if I can come up with $500. If it was the other way and it was first come, first serve, I would never be able to. It would literally be just random luck. It'd be like hitting the lottery.
Wouldn't it be to the winner go the spoils? The early bird gets the worm. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I guess so. But no, I'd rather it be the other way around, where the market bears, the supply. But yeah, I mean, that's terrible, and hopefully in a few months everyone will forget about the story. But I Googled his name, and they had 1.9 million results, so probably he's not going to be going away anytime soon.
Yeah, and if you Google his brother's name, he's probably got more than that.
Probably, yeah. I was surprised his brother didn't want to come on. I thought maybe he'd want.
That was funny. He was like, no, and then he was like, he must have said something.
I thought he might have wanted to come on too, but no, that was cool. I mean, I'm glad he was able to join.
I mean, nobody knows how far the "Let me ask you this" branch reaches. I mean, he's just afraid.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna let you know that he did say that he was invited on the Dr. Oz show and said no.
I know.
Chose to come on. Let me ask you this, because this is where you come on and air stuff, because no one's listening. No.
Oh, great.
No, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. He'd probably turn down some national interviews, and we get him to come on the show.
He turned down Dr. Oz, but he was on us.
I should call Dr. Oz. I might send Dr. Oz a message and let him know that I was able to get one of his guests to come on the show.
I have access to an interview you might want.
I wonder what their next thing is going to be that they're going to try to buy. They probably won't be buying and selling anything for a while.
That's why I was trying to get a sense of
Yeah, he didn't want to go in. He didn't want to go into it. It seemed like.
I know. Well, that's probably why they're six-figure earners.
Probably, yeah. Yeah,
it's got to be impossible.
I should have asked them if the golf courses were open in Tennessee. I don't know if you heard, but they said
must be.
Tennessee probably. Massachusetts, they said they are not going to open the golf courses, but they might think about opening up for people that want to walk. Are there no places to walk if you don't have a golf course to walk on?
There's no trails.
Like these other states are opening. The Governor Baker said other states are opening up golf courses for various reasons. Yeah, golfing. That's what you do on a golf course. We're the only state in the world that says maybe we'll open up for people that want to walk somewhere.
What is your issue with walks? Why don't we tackle that?
I just want to go golfing, dude.
Every time I say I'm going for a hike, you're you're actually walking.
It's not a hike though.
You're not going. Yeah, but up a mountain.
Are you hiking up a mountain?
I mean, most times there's some type of incline.
Where's there a mountain in Massachusetts?
I mean, Mass is pretty hilly. I mean, most of the mountains are out in the western part of the state.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering. I mean, I know where you live. That there's no mountains there. I'll drive there right now. There's not one mountain.
So you just always say,
I think you're making that up.
Walking.
Just say that you're going for a walk, dude. That's all. That's all you have to say. So that was a good interview. Tomorrow night we're gonna have Marty Caproni on. I hope I pronounced his last name right. Boston comedian, has toured around the country. He's done multiple colleges. He was actually, I believe, he was flying into Rochester to do a show when they literally canceled the world, and he had to come home. And a lot of comedians now aren't making a living because all the clubs are closed and the government said that they're not allowed to work. And I don't believe that they're even getting unemployment, because if you're a gig worker, you're not allowed to.
Oh my God, they're getting screwed worse than anyone.
Yeah, if you're like a musician, gig worker, a comedian, artist, you're not getting any source of income at all right now. A lot of the guys are trying to, I saw some people doing like live, Facebook live open mics or whatever, comedy shows. I don't know if that could even be fun to digest that type of content, because you need other people to be with you to laugh. Laughing is contagious, I think. I can't even sit home and watch, I can't watch Chappelle and laugh at it. I need to be there. Do you think that's the case for you or no?
In a lot of cases, I mean, I can still watch like Seinfeld and still like crack up at it. Or
if it's a TV show I could watch, but like, if it's a stand-up comedian, you could watch a guy on TV. If it's a
stand-up comedian, usually I watch it silent. Like I'm just sitting there, just like digesting it.
And you're right. I do the same thing. I think there was something like, oh, that was funny, but I'm not gonna belly laugh. It has to be like extremely good. But even most cases, I'm not gonna belly laugh. But if you're there in person and like one person laughs, then the next
you're dying.
It's so and I feel bad for a lot of the people who I used to do comedy with in a previous life, and a lot of the other people who I know, because they're just not making any money right now, and who knows when it's even gonna. I mean, are you gonna feel comfortable going to a club in August or September?
No,
there's a chance a comedy club may not even be full this year, ever, like the rest of 2020.
Yeah, if you're a comedian, you might want to try to go on Amazon and make a living. I mean,
yes, that's what you're gonna have to do.
We tried to dig it out on exactly step by step on how you can do it.
I know. I wish you would have told. I wanted to know what the secret sauce was.
I was hoping we could pry more into that.
I mean, 6-figure seller. I might have to reach out to his brother and get him to come on.
Yeah, and just for the Amazon stuff.
Dude,
not even talk about
if he's a 6-figure seller, from what I know, because I signed up for an Amazon account, that means he's selling in the millions, right? Because he's probably making like 8 to 10% off.
He's probably the best salesman we've ever met.
Yeah, he's probably selling stuff that you've never even heard of before.
He's like, I sold 1.8 million this year.
Right. Yeah, he's if you make 10% of that, that's not bad. That's a decent living. You're probably working your ass off, I would imagine.
I would imagine too.
What would you sell on Amazon if you were to sell on Amazon?
What would I sell? I mean, see, I think it's all about, you got to figure out, I'm like not good with this, but I think you got to figure out what he was saying, like the prices, the market.
Well, what's the weirdest thing you ever bought on there?
What's the weirdest thing I've ever bought on Amazon?
Yeah.
Probably like a posture corrector or something.
Oh, really? Oh, does that work? I thought
Yeah,
about
it's kind
getting
of
one.
like a
That's the vest that goes around here, right?
thing that you can get into or something like to.
Does that work?
I think so, a little
I
bit.
don't have great posture because I lean over a lot on the computer. I need to do that. I'm always like putting my shoulder blades back to try to like stretch out.
Yeah, I have like this little thing like in my chair or whatever that helps.
What is it, like a bra?
Like a lumbar support.
No, the strap thing. What is it, like a bra?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. The weirdest thing
it's kind of like a bra that goes like backward, like it gets like your shoulder girdle like back here or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a gun holster type of thing?
Yeah. Somebody has
a straighten up.
Straighten up.
I don't know what that is, but maybe I'll get one of those.
Because I just do too much sitting for work.
I know. Sitting is the worst thing ever. Sitting, they say that sitting is the new smoking in like in the 2000s.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that is a good comparison, I guess.
Yeah, the weirdest thing I bought it like a few months ago. I bought one of those. It's like for a photo shoot. It's like this little white box, and it's got like an LED light inside of it, so I could put like stuff that I sell on eBay inside there, so to take like a nice picture. Yeah, it was a piece of shit, so I returned it.
So would you buy millions of them and sell them on the cheap?
No, but whoever made them is making a lot of money because it literally is a piece of shit, dude. It's like 4 pieces of oak tag paper and some nylon, in like a little tiny light that goes in there. It probably cost them $2 to make, and it cost me like $25. But I had to return it because it didn't work.
How did you know how much it cost to make Purell? Were you Googling that before?
Yeah. Yes. Plus, I may or may not know someone who's making it right now.
Because that was like a credibility getter I could see for him. You were like, it's like 12, 18 cents. He was like, mm-hmm. Like I could see him like